All right, so I'm back. At least I hope I am, for a while. I stopped doing videos 2 years ago because I went to go get my master's degree, and then after that the pandemic hit. I did a couple videos in there in the middle, but while I was filming one of them in Rhode Island, I realized, why am I encouraging people to go out and play new courses in new places when we're not even supposed to be crossing state lines at this point? Well, the pandemic is basically winding down here in New England. Most of the states in this area are in good shape as far as vaccinations are concerned, and I'm out playing again. So I'm back here at Franklin Falls Disc Golf Course. Now, this is a dam course that was very controversial with the people I played it with a few years ago. I brought my buddies, the Hooligans, out with me. We played this course and had an interesting time. That course proved to be so controversial, we ended up doing 2 videos just to say all the things that we had to say about it. And what's happened is they have changed the course mightily. And there's an entirely new layout. There's only a few holes that remain from the original layout. We're going to give it a play today and see how it goes. For anyone familiar with the course, hole 1 is probably not that new, although it is technically a new hole for the layout. This is the spot where many players would just come up and take a practice shot to get down the practice basket, which was out in the middle of that field there. Now, I don't see a basket right now, but the sign promises me that it is tucked in around the corner down near that spot where you can see where they've done some clear cutting here. There's a big field that's been wiped out. All the trees have been removed. That used to be hole 18, and hole 18 is no longer there. Once they removed those trees, it wasn't worthwhile as a playable space. I'll explain why the trees are moved in a bit. Let's just stick with hole 1 for the moment. Tee pads here are very nice. They are solid rubber put in over a wooden frame with course grade number 5, crushed stone basically. And if I have seen correctly, all the tee pads should be built like this. I've played on them before. They're very good pads. They've got chain star baskets. Other than a parking lot and a disc golf course, there aren't many amenities here, so this one earns a number 3 on the birdie scale. So we're taking a look at hole 1, par 3, 315 feet. I'd say this is probably most friendly done with a forehand for a right-hander, or a hyzer for a lefty. It's going to be kind of tricky to do as a right-hand backhander. Oh, she faded out. Short. Okay, so I guess I was wrong, and hole 18 is still here. It's just not played the same way that it used to be. They've got the basket off to the side of the woods instead of, it used to be somewhere over here in the middle. You played through the trees that were once here. What happened is the forest in this area got infected with red pine scale, which is an insect that crawls under the bark and eats away at things. And in order to get rid of it, the only thing you can really do is to clear cut the infected area and get rid of the, basically remove the animals out of there. So unfortunately, a lot of the disc golf holes were affected by that change. That's part of the reason why they redesigned the course and created this new layout. Hole 2 was the old hole 1, and as far as I can tell, this hasn't changed very much. You just got a straightforward short shot going into the trees there. Very tight lanes. You can go out the right side or the left side of the gap. Either one will get you onto the green. The basket itself is hidden from view, but it's right behind the trees, just ahead of that little rise you see in the distance. Not a great throw. The sign says it's 250 feet, but it's slightly downhill. I missed the line completely, and I still have a shot to save the birdie. So this one's kind of a pitch and putt, I guess. Now it's nose down. Hole 3 has been squeezed into the space where it was just between holes 1 and 2 on the old layout, and it's a short little 215 footer. We're just going straight out there. The basket is tucked into the trees on the right hand side. It's a little too similar to what is now hole 2. It's basically a connector hole. They fit in a hole where they could. Oh! That would have been my first ace on camera. So holes 2 and 3, definitely birdie holes. You should be chasing those. Hole 1, I think, is also a pretty easy, a pretty birdieable hole. You just have to nail your drive. I didn't quite get there. Luckily, hole 4, very short walk to get to, right behind the basket on hole 3. Hole 4 is one of the original holes with one new modification. They've moved the basket slightly back. Hole 4 is also the first par 4 on the course. There are 4 of them total in the new 18 layout, making par a total of 58. The sign here says it's 435 feet, but I don't know if that's current measurement to where the pin is. They just recently moved the pin back another 60, so this might be closer to 500. There's a lot of trees in the way, but I might see if I can get the rangefinder on this and see if I can figure out whether that distance is accurate. All right, that's solid. I'm out there. 2 ways you can play this hole. You can try and throw a flick or something through these trees on the left-hand side, really tight, but you can get big advantage by getting out into the field that far side. I go play it straightforward, just try and fade out as a righty backhander. That's an easy shot for me, but it's going to be tricky for me to get out, around, and to the pin. You can just barely see the top of the basket over that ridge to the right of the 2 skinny birch trees there. Right in the middle of the frame, I can see the top of it. My shot landed way back here, just behind these concrete, I don't know what they are, curbstones or something like that. I'm in an ant's nest, really, right down below us here. So I've got a decent upshot here, just a tight look. Don't mind me, ants. I'm just gonna throw my disc and get out of your way. I'll take my 4, I guess. Terrible upshot. So I went back to the tee pad and I measured from the tee pad to a tree that's off to the side of the fairway, and I got 207 feet. I'm going to try and measure back to that tree from here. And I'm getting 264. So if it was 207 plus 264, we're in somewhere in the 470s area, 475. I guess yeah, that's a pretty legit par 4. It's not a big one. It'd be okay if you were playing a whites layout for, you know, your 890, 900 rated players. That's a decent par 4. So yeah, you can call it that. Hole 5 is the old hole 4. It is a par 4 at 465 feet. It is pretty heavily wooded, so I think that's a legit par rating. Again, if you're building for a whites level course. I'd say this one's pretty backhand, right-hand friendly. You just got to turn the disc over a little bit and nail the gap, because these trees will grab your disc and slam them to the ground. Well, I missed my line, but I hit someone else's line, and that worked. Yeah, I think I'm right. This hole hasn't changed. This seems very familiar. I was thinking for a minute that the basket might have been located over there for a while, but no. Hole 6, 280 feet, par 3. It's pretty much a straightforward shot with a couple of trees in the way. The only problem here is there's a bit of a low ceiling. This is, I believe, the same as the original layout, so just have at it. Oh no. That might be a bit too low. Oh. Whoops. "305 feet straight ahead." It's a little bit of a turn to your left. So you're looking at the hole here. A lot of different ways to get here. I'm going to try and do it with a right-hand backhand with a bit of fade at the end, but I think probably the best shot is a righty forehand flex, get it around the corner, have it come out right onto the green. A lefty turnover would work as well. Oh no. Oh, I got through. Better be lucky than good. Ah, short. To get to hole 9, you have to backtrack just a little bit up the fairway on 9. But that's good because it gives you a look at the pin before you come up here to where the tee pad is. And I can tell already from looking at it that I like this hole. It's 315 feet, not very far, but it goes straight out there through, I wouldn't call it a tunnel, it's more like a country road kind of a situation there. Then you got to shape your shot so that it turns hard right, well, to your side, right, that direction, and then glides down a hill onto the green. Really nice shot. I think that there's a lot going for this one. You could see people, you know, parking this shot or being utterly frustrated by a tree in the middle of things. Oh, I hit some branches on the backside and dropped. Okay. On the green. Tally-ho. Hole 9 is a completely new hole. In fact, I see some trees with pink ribbons on them, suggesting those are marked for, you know, removal at some point. 385 feet. It starts off with a tee shot, goes slightly uphill, right into, you know, a very, very tiny gap up there. That's where I see the trees that are marked to be deleted, so hopefully that happens sometime soon because it's kind of a daunting shot. 385 feet, and they're calling it a par 4. That's a little suspicious, even for a white layout, but it is heavily wooded. I would have to check the specs on that. I don't think I would put anything under 400 feet to be a par 4, but well, let's play it, see what I do. All right, that's about as clean a drive as I could expect to get. All right, so I'm just climbing the hill right now to see what we get once we crest the top of this. We got a lot of trees in our way, but like I said, some of these are marked to be deleted. All right, there's my shot. And there's the basket right around the corner, I assume. Okay, yeah, right down there, just past those little birch trees. Oops, right down there, right past those little birch trees. A little bit short. Okay, so that's the front 9 on this course, and I've got to say those last 2 holes were actually really nice. 8 and 9 are both good holes. 9, questionable as a par 4, but I got a really clean drive. I might have just been lucky this round. I think that's a very birdieable hole. I don't know, we'll see. I've got to play this course several times before I can give it any kind of a real opinion. That's just my gut reaction at this point, is that that's probably a soft 4, even for a white layout. I just ran into a couple of nice dudes who got lost after hole 7. They do have markers under the baskets, but some of them apparently have been vandalized. That's one of them, so you might not be able to point you in the right direction. Take a picture or something like that of the sign that's back at the beginning of the course, back where I was standing when I did my intro. Bring that with you as you get out here. That'll make navigation a whole lot easier. Hole 10. This is one of the old holes, so this is a repeat. I don't think they've changed anything here. 315 feet or so, par 3, straight ahead. The basket is on a hill. It'd be tempting to throw straight at the hill and just hit the hill and skip up a little bit, but you're gonna have a long putt if you do that because the basket is actually located just a little bit on the back side of the hill, just a touch. Well, I got a decent skip there. Okay. I did get a better skip than I thought, but this is also the distance between that little tree that I went past and the basket is not as far as I thought it was. So yeah, anytime you skip up on this hill, you're probably right at circle's edge, at least. Hole 11, 260 feet, par 3. I think it looks a little longer than 260, but I don't know, we'll have to play it. Going out, you can see that area that's clear cut over there. First I thought the basket was on the other side of that. Maybe that's why my distanceometer is messed up here, but it's not. It's actually around the corner. So we got to pull a tight ante shot or a big forehand to get out and all the way around to the back side. Well, I just landed in the middle of the walking trail, so I'm going to have an upshot, not a putt. So my drive was actually even with the basket and about 40 or 50 feet out. So yeah, definitely 260 seems very likely as far as the distance on this hole goes. Not bad, pretty simple and straightforward other than the ante drive. Hole 12 is one of the original holes, and that's not a problem because this was a good one. I think originally it was hole 8 or hole 9, I'm not sure. Straight down the hill along this access road and then kind of off to the left. I've got the camera pointed straight at it. Take your putter, take your mid, and rip away at it. Tough to do as a right-hand forehander. You'd have to hang it out in the branches on the right-hand side before it cuts left. But otherwise, not a bad hole for a backhander or a lefty. Oh no! Oh, I'm on the wrong side of the trees with that one. I got very lucky here. My drive landed right in a gap. There's a large gap in these trees giving me a look straight at the basket. Oh, come on, Kyle. Give it a run. Can't take advantage of the good luck. So a bit of a navigation issue here. The little arrow under the basket is telling you to walk out toward the dam. But you don't want to do that. Well, you do, but you only want to go about 50 feet or so. Then you want to turn left, go up, and go all the way across along the side of the floodplain above the riprap, and that's where you'll find the new hole 13. This path used to go out and play all the way across the floodplain. There was a 1,180 foot hole or something like that that used to play. It was fantastic the first couple times you played it, but I'm sure it got old after a while. And it was also an awful slog when you were out in the sun and heat. It does have a great view though. Okay, hole 13. This is another one of the new ones. This one is kind of wide open. Just taking a shot out there, 325, bend it around to the left. Somewhere against the tree line is a basket. I can't see it from where I am right here. Do be careful because the tee pad for the next hole is right out in the middle of this clear cut area. Again, this is where that red pine scale devastated these trees, and you know, I never thought it was a pretty forest to begin with. Now I know why. Apparently all the trees were infected. But clear cutting it hasn't made it any prettier. with that hill and the bushes in the back, this is definitely one of those baskets where you want to take a good run at it. Oh. A lot of almosts today. Hole 14, nothing fancy here. Just a slight elevation. And then, what is it, 265? 285 to the pin, just a birdie run. Oh, I don't think I got there. I might need to, let me try a St. Pro. Let me try that again. Oh no. Nope. Definitely a very attackable hole. I didn't quite get there with the compass, but I was closer than I thought. Hole 15, another new hole. This one's playing out into the area where 16, 17, 18, 15 used to be. Again, it's going out straight into the area that is clear cut. There is a birch that is out there with a little tiny sign on it, and that is Mando, to the right of that tree. So you want to go out to the right side of that tree, get around it, and you're playing all the way across this clear cut area, 505 feet. So this is a par 4, and it's the longest hole on the course. Well, I'm not going to have any trouble with that Mando. It's taking me a little while to find my disc in all of this debris. Oh, there I am, way up there. Oh, it's going to fade all the way out. Needed to flip that. So, just a grip and rip on the drive. There's nothing in your way, and the upshot is pretty much the same thing. I just failed to turn the disc over. But I do like this green. There's a drop off right behind it into the ditch next to the road, and so you don't want to overcook this one too much, or hit the dog that's pooping on the back side of things. That's safe. Hole 16, grip and rip, 312 feet, you know, not a significant distance. You got a pine tree that's in your way on the right-hand side here, but it's not so much in the way that it's a big threat. There's nothing scary about this one. Just get out there and make a putt. Yeah, baby. That was a good rip. Oh, no. Oh, cringe. 17 looks like it's basically the same hole that it used to be. It's just that there's a whole lot fewer trees on it now. Oh, hi. Oh, no. Oh, that's skipped way off to the side. Ah. Okay, so earlier I said that they hadn't changed 18 very much and just moved the basket. I was wrong. This is a new tee pad as well. The tee pad used to be located somewhere over there on the other side of these trees. So we've got pretty much a straightforward bomb. It's going out about 200 feet and then banging to the left. The hole itself is 380, par 3, which I think is fair. Definitely lefties beware on this one. This is going to be a hard hole for you guys. That's out there. All right, so that's 18. Frankly, that was a little boring. There's not much to it. A couple of those on the course. Okay, I chose this spot because it's in the shade, which is really nice after the last couple of holes. But it's also a main pathway here, so I gotta be quick. Final thoughts on this course. Not a lot has changed. There's still a lot of bugs and mosquitoes in some of the areas where there are trees. And it's still brutally hot and wide open and you know, potentially windy and whatnot if it's going to be for those open holes. And it's still not a very pretty course. Have they made it better by switching to this shorter 18 layout? There's definitely a couple of holes that I really enjoyed, 8 and 9 particularly, and there's nothing wrong with the holes that were here originally. But there are definitely also a couple of just connector holes, like hole 3 I think it was, and then some of the ones that are out in the area that's been clear cut where there's not much to them. You just rip a disc out there and then take an upshot and make a putt. Some people might have the distance to get birdies on those, and that's another thing that I might bring up. If you got an arm, you can chase birdies all day on this course. There's so many holes where you can throw a birdie in if you've got the distance. Very few that would technically, you know, challenge you to make lines, but the closest one for that is going to be hole 9. Really tight right now. Even after they clear a few trees out of that one, still going to be tight. So if you like the technical stuff, not your course. But if you like to throw long bombs, come on down, have fun.